Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Maybe you watched my previous YouTube video about the day in the life of an illustrator for children's books. Some of the children's books I've been doing so far. And illustrator and mom, and I wanted to use this channel to talk a little bit about my job, what can I maybe give to the community of illustrators and maybe parents around there who are working, and I thought maybe it would be nice for a second episode after we talk about the day in the life. We could talk about a subject that is actually quite dear to me. It's about how my creativity went from normal to very low to really high after I became a parent. So that affected me quite a lot, and I thought maybe it would be a nice episode and something nice to start. So maybe I would like to start talking about how my creativity was before I became a parent. So we became parents in 2022. I became pregnant in 2021. So that was just around the pandemic when everything was happening. So before we became pregnant, I was working before the pandemic. I was working full-time in an animation studio in Ireland here called Boulder Media, and then I was working in another studio freelance for Daily Madness, and then I was working in another studio for Cartoon Saloon a little bit just before I dropped everything to become a parent. And during those times that I was working animation, I was working a 9-to-5 job. Some of them were working 9-to-6 job. So it was actually a full-time job as an animator. Well, actually not an animator, as a storyboard artist, closer to the time that I finished my animation career. And then in the evenings, I was working on these guys. So just before my baby was born, I was working on a book by Kidlit. Here you go, bananas. So I was working on that book in the evenings while I was doing storyboards during the day. So it was full on. And then I still had time, as maybe if you watch my previous episode, I like to draw in the evenings. And usually I actually relax watching TV and just drawing on my iPad. I think some artists do relate with that. Maybe a lot of artists, I have no idea. Some people think I'm crazy. Some people don't know where I get my energy from. I don't know, it's just the way I work. So yeah, I would be tired, but after dinner, after spending time with family, in this case my dog and my partner who we live together, we would just sit down and watch TV, and I would just grab the iPad. I either work on children's books for 1 or 2 hours, or I would just draw whatever I wanted. I could draw a full picture, I could draw just a spot illustration, I could just do a little bit of animation, and that was nice. It was just a nice relaxing moment. And then pandemic hit. We all working from home, as everybody know. So that was okay for me because I could spend more time with Chewy, my dog, which was great because he would spend a lot of hours alone at home. And it was just hard not to see our friends, as you know, and not to go to work. For me, it was, in a way, it was nice as well because we had more time to spend together. The work balance, work balance was a bit better. And we were just starting thinking maybe this is the time for us to have a family, because for many years I always wanted to be a mom, but I was terrified I wouldn't be courageous enough to be a mom. I didn't think I had it in me to actually be a mom, which is kind of hard to hear it because we are now, and I love it to bits. But I actually never thought I was going to have the courage, because I thought this is such a huge change in our lives. Will I ever actually just do it? Since I was 30, I had people just saying, oh, you're 30 now, you have to start thinking about kids, your doctors, and oh, you're a woman, you have your clock ticking, which is quite annoying because as a woman, you don't really want anybody pushing you to do anything. That has to do with your body, because it's not just about having a baby, you have to carry it, and everything's going to change in your life. So I was always very afraid. I always wanted, it was always a big dream of mine to have a kid and a baby, but I never thought I would have the courage. When the pandemic hit, for some reason, priorities changed, and I thought, that's it. If we don't do it now, I'll never do it. So we just thought, okay, this is it. We're just going to try and have a baby, where we are completely relaxed about it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, we just see what we do afterwards. After 8 months, we actually got the news that we got pregnant. We were so stupid and silly, happy, and we were just so happy with the news. I just couldn't believe it, and I just, you know, just carried this baby with all my love and a lot of my protection. It was, you know, I didn't feel overwhelmed. I was actually quite calm about the whole thing, just quite excited. We were both really excited. Started planning everything, and then while I was working, you know, while I was pregnant, I was working. I was like, okay, I have to get everything done because this baby could be born at any minute. I was actually a premature baby myself. I had a twin brother, and we were born at 7 months. My twin brother unfortunately didn't survive, and I was born at 7 months. So I thought, okay, maybe she could be born early. She could be. So I had to just try to get as much as done possible before she was born. The other reason I forgot to say that we thought maybe, I don't know if I want to be a parent right now, is it the right time, is because in the animation career, when you become a parent, and in any career really, you just go away, right? You have to go away for maternity leave, you have to nurture that baby. And I thought, if I leave this career, will I be able to come back easily, or what's going on? Like it was absolutely terrifying. So that was the other reason I forgot to say that we were kind of stalling having a baby. So I'm stopping and starting a lot because I'm actually quite nervous. This is only my second video, and I think I'm making a lot of mistakes, so I hope you guys can stick with me. And I'm not looking at camera, I just realized that, and I'm really sorry, it's just the nerves. And I kind of keep forgetting what I'm doing. I have kind of a script in front of me, but it's still a little hard, so forgive me. Yeah, so I tried to get everything done just before our baby was born, because I wasn't sure if she was born any minute. My mom says, no, look, you don't want that baby to be born early, you just want that baby to stay with you until she's due. And she was actually born a week early, which was really exciting. We were just incredibly excited to have her. We had the house with building work going on, and the building work was not finished, and due date was coming. I was just like, please, I just want to meet her. I just want to start her life as parents. Even though we were really nervous, we were really excited. So anyway, she was born, my parents were here. It was an amazing experience, as you can imagine. I mean, she's amazing. She's 1.5 now. I thought that the first 3 months were incredibly hard, as many moms might relate. Our baby was a little bit sick as well, so I'm not gonna get into it because it wasn't serious, but we had to go into hospital a few times just to be sure she was okay. First time parents, so we were really nervous. Everything was okay. One thing wasn't sorted, so we had to go back home, my home, to Portugal to actually talk with the pediatrician to actually figure out another way, because here in Ireland questions were not being answered as we wanted, even though the system here is amazing and Portugal is amazing too. But in this special situation, we just needed an answer for something, and they gave us in Portugal, and everything was sorted. She was happy. So after the 3 months, she was a much happier baby. Anyways, for those first 3 months, it was hard, right? So as new parents know, it's just a shock to the system. I never forget the night that we brought her from the hospital, and I only stayed one night at the hospital, so this was really our second night. And of course, newborns are still very sleepy on the first few nights, so you kind of don't really get a taste of it until a few days after they were born. That's when they get hungry, they get more awake, they're, still a bit sleepy, but more crying. Anyways, and me and my partner just looked at each other and went, oh my god, what did we do? Like, is this what we wanted? Even though it was absolutely what we wanted, it was just the shock of being a first-time parent. Anyways, my baby was very much a baby that needed contact all the time, which I love. So I was actually quite happy. I would carry her, and the baby carry her a lot while I would walk Chewy. We have tons of pictures. She used to be in the pram, but it's actually not very easy to walk a dog and push a pram, especially with a small baby. Not when she was really small, but when she was a few weeks old. And actually, when I carry her in the carrier, nice and cozy, and walking through, it was just the best experience ever, because you could just cuddle up to your baby and walk the dog. It was just great. And then when I was not on the carrier, she would be on me all the time. She just wanted to be carried quite a lot. Even when she would nurse quite a lot. I would spend days, and I'll say many moms can relate to this. I had a lot of groundhog days, which were difficult. I mean, my partner would leave the house to work. I would be at the sofa, on the sofa with her on my lap, nursing, and I wouldn't be able to get up because she would cry. If I get up for a little bit, it wouldn't be that long. I mean, she would just, she just wanted to be, mommy, just stay still. So that's all she wanted, just stay still. I just want to nurse and sleep. That's it. You just stay still. So sometimes my partner would come back home and I would still be on the sofa. I mean, it was just hard, and the nights were hard and everything. Anyways, my creativity just went, as you can imagine, obviously, because my mind was very much on this new baby, and I had no problems with that. I mean, I just wanted to nurse for her. I just wanted to be a present mom and everything. Just after a while, I just thought, Jesus, do you know what? I wouldn't mind just draw a little bit, because I was so many hours with the baby on my lap just nursing. I was like, Jesus, I wouldn't mind just pick up a pencil and just draw some, because that actually always relaxed me. And I asked, because I had a few friends online that had babies not that long ago, and they are artists. So I asked, did you ever draw and nurse your baby? Is that wrong? And I felt the mom guilty. Should I be doing that? I actually had people telling me, no, you shouldn't. Just forget about drawing. Jesus, you only had a few months when the baby's that small. Just enjoy your baby. And I was like, well, I suppose, yeah, you're right. And I didn't for a long time, but like those hours were long. I mean, very long. And I'd just be, I wouldn't be sleepy all the time, and I wouldn't want to sleep with the baby on my lap because that's dangerous. So I'll just be on my phone, and sometimes I would kind of be falling asleep, just endless scrolling and chatting with a mom's group that I used to be with, which is the biggest advice that I can give to anyone. If you're a new parent, or you're going to become a new parent, or a second-time parent, or a third-time parent, and you kind of forgot everything or whatever, just find a group of parents that are going through the same phase as you. We just found each other on Facebook. I put the month and the year she was born on Facebook, babies, and then baby's the month and the year that she was born. I'm not going to say it here. And I found this group, and then we all got a WhatsApp. So at 5 o'clock in the morning, if our babies were going through witching hour or crazy teething or whatever, we could talk to all the moms that were online. And it was brilliant, because we thought, oh my God, our baby's broken, and somebody else would say that their baby was going through the exact same thing. And we just felt so normal and reassured that we're not doing anything wrong, and we don't have family around us. So it was actually quite important to have that support group on the go. Anyways, that's one big advice. After I don't know when, I actually finally just went, look, do you know what? I feel guilty, but I need to do this for my mental health. I don't know how many months Mariana was. I think she was about 2, maybe, I don't know. And I just thought, okay, if she's nursing on this side, I can just, and we had like a big nursing pillow, I just put the iPad on top and I just draw with the other hand. I mean, it can't hurt, right? And what happened was, she would just sleep an hour, 2 hours on my lap, and I would just start cleaning up the drawings. So it wasn't a creative job, because my mind was not creative at the time. I just needed to feel a little bit like myself. So I was actually cleaning up the artwork for this book that's coming out now in January 2024. With Dazzle, woo! And I just needed to clean up. I was just cleaning up the artwork, and it was so relaxing. So the whole thing just started working itself. I would be walking with her. I'll be walking Chewy. I would be feeding myself, nursing her, drawing a little bit, being with my partner. So things start going a little bit more, a bit smoother. So that was great. When she turned 4 months, I actually had deadlines to meet, to start working on, and my partner thought, maybe you need some help, because we don't have family for you to come over, and if you're having a bad day with the baby, you can't just go to your mom and have a cup of tea or something. So I think you need help, my partner said, and I was like, yeah, maybe you are totally right. And I kind of need to start working anyways, because being a freelancer, you still have deadlines. And my amazing agent, James McGowan, he actually pushed all my deadlines. He's like, you need as much time as you want. You need time to just relax, be a mom, not relax, but I mean, be a mom. And you shouldn't be thinking about work at all, right? But I knew I wanted to start very slowly. So at 4 months, and my deadlines were close to the end of the year, I was like, this was about end of mid-September, I thought I just want to start really slow, and if she's sick or something happens with the minder that we're going to find, at least I don't have to pressure too much. So at 4 months we hire somebody to come here to the house because I thought she was way too small to go somewhere else. We fortunately have the option of not having to. I know not everybody has that option. Some people have to bring their babies to creche. We fortunately had the option of hiring somebody. It wasn't too expensive. It was only 4 hours a day. So in the morning I would be with her, and then after 2 o'clock, after lunch, a minder would come over. Sometimes I would actually just be nursing as the minder would come. She would be at the door and I would be, she would be contact napping on me. I don't know if you're not a parent, you don't know maybe what that is, but contact napping is she would nurse on me, fall asleep, and I would not be able to move her into a crib. She had to contact. If I would take her off my arm, she would just cry. So I just learned how to. She napped on me until she was 8 months. I know that for some people that's weird. For me, it worked for us, and I would not change anything. I love those contact naps. As long as I could do a little bit something else after she would fall asleep for 2 hours. So anyways, we had somebody coming in, and I started working slowly on this book, just all the colors, and my creativity was still low. I mean, in the evenings I would absolutely not work. I would just mind my baby. So I would only work, and it would not be super creative because I already had a manuscript, I already had all the sketches done before she was born. So this was just cleaning, coloring. It was a really nice, relaxed, that's that kind of job that illustrators knows. You can just put your music on, and you can just work. And the other book that I was working on, I can't show the cover yet because I don't know if this is going to come out before the cover reveal, but it was the book Walkies, which is my debut author illustrated book, and it's inspired by Chewy. It's not about Chewy. He's here sleeping, but I was working, and also the sketches for Walkies were all done before my baby was born. So this was all like coloring, cleaning, a few retakes from the publishing houses, and it was a nice slow coming in without any other work. I wouldn't draw any other hours outside those 4 hours. So the time that I actually start to finally have to use a bit of my head, and I was terrified because this was part of my job. I signed contracts and everything, and I knew my brain was not the same. And I know, or maybe a few moms read about it, or dads, or parents in general, read that mom's brain change quite a lot after they become parent. It gets wired differently. And my brain, I could feel it was completely different. I just couldn't come up with original ideas, which is incredibly terrifying because that's my job. So by January, I had to rough 2 books. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do rough thumbnails for 2 books if my brain is just not working that way? It was terrifying, but because I was still working with somebody else's manuscript and somebody else's direction roughly, and I just try to be kind to myself and just go slowly. You have time. I was ahead of time, in fairness, so just go slowly. It worked out. One of the books actually didn't work out because I had to redo everything, but not because of that, because of other reasons. But it was starting to work. Even though it was not my creative work, I was starting to slowly get my foot back into my creative job. So if we're still in January and February, our baby will be about 10 months or so. So I was still working those 4 hours with the minder coming in, but I was not doing absolutely anything creative outside work. I mean, outside those 4 hours. In the evenings, I tried a few times just to relax the nights that she would stay asleep. Because at night we managed to finally put her, in the bed for sleeping, so she didn't need to be contact napping on me. So, I thought, okay, maybe I can draw a little bit, and I drew a few drawings. They're actually all based on her, of course, because that's where my brain was. But I wasn't happy with quite a few of them. I don't think I posted everything that I drew at the time. I'm not sure. And anyways, my mind was still not working for like it used to, like me just wanting to let me see what I'm gonna draw today. I don't know, a little mushroom man in a forest doing something nice and story-like and whatever. I know this makes no sense, but I just couldn't do that. Nothing would come up. Even now, it's hard for me to think about something that I need to draw. So it's not perfect. It's not right there yet, if ever gonna be. I think I was looking into my Instagram, and I think that the first image that I finally did, that I was like, okay, this is what it feels like to relax when I'm drawing, just for myself, just drawing for myself, and this is what it feels to relax while I'm doing it. And that was only a few days before she was 1. So that means it took me almost a year to start getting into the flow of what I was before our baby was born. So that means my creativity was just non-existent, or non-existent for outside work, which is totally normal, and it was slowly starting to pick up pace. And the nice thing now is that, so our baby's 1.5. So I don't know, she's been really funny for a long time. Sometimes it's kind of hard for me to remember how funny she was when she was really young. It's really nice to see the really young videos, because I think that, okay, now she's the funniest she could ever be. She just gets funnier and funnier, and she's a fantastic kid, and she's a bit of a joker. I think myself and her dad are a bit of jokers, so I think she's taking that off us. And it's actually a lot of inspiration that is coming now. It's from her. The huge difference now is that I got so many story ideas from just being around her, and instead of what I was doing, which was drawing one picture a night and just leave it like that, just put it online, my creativity outside work, it's actually now into projects, not into small pictures that just go into the void, which I don't mind. One of the projects that I was working on, because I read a lot of board books, right? I have a reason now to buy books more than I had before, so I buy a lot of children's books, even more than I used to, and I buy board books, which I actually didn't buy many before, of course. No, not of course, but I didn't, and now I do a lot since before she was born. And I love board books. I love the format. I love how short they are. I love how beautiful they are. Our daughter loves her books, thank God. And I was like, Jesus, you know what? I would love to do a board book series, because I've seen a character-based series. And I was like, something, what character would I like to do? And I drew a character for her before she was born, for her bedroom. It was like the 4 seasons, with the little bunny and the tree changes with the seasons, and the bunny has different friends that come over the tree, and depending on the seasons. And I was like, you know what, I always love that bunny, it always keeps coming to my head, so I'm just gonna try. I should really do a series about a bunny and maybe a sidekick. That would be nice. Something smaller. Okay, a guinea pig. I know in reality they're almost the same size, but in my world, the bunny's a bit bigger, the guinea pig is a bit smaller, and that would kind of give a nice contrast. And then I was going to bed, I was like, what name should I give them? I was like, oh, what name should I give them? And I wanted to do maybe a bilingual kind of book or something. I was like, what about Peekaboo? Pika is the bunny, and Boo is the guinea pig. Oh my god! And I was just so happy. I just wrote on my phone and just went to sleep, and that's it. I didn't want to send it to my agent right away, because I was like, okay, we were working on other things, so I can't just be sending something without being thought of. And we never actually work on board books, so I was like, he's going to think I'm crazy, that I'm just drawing something completely different of what we've been doing. So I'm just going to put it in the drawer. And then eventually, after this summer, so our daughter would have been almost 1.5, I just showed the idea to my mom, after showed all the board books that Mariana loves, and we're always, Mariana's always around books, so for breakfast we had lots of books. She would bring books over to the table and everything, and then she would go to sleep, and then I told my mom, I actually had an idea for a series, and I told her about it. She's like, geez, why are you not doing anything about that? And I was like, oh, maybe I should. And then when we came back from the holidays, I just tried to rework as more as Jesus, my English is gone, mummy brain, that's what I'm blaming on. But I tried to work as much as I could, and I said it to James. I said, please don't kill me. I know this is a completely different idea of what we've been doing, but what do you think? And he really liked it, and we just work on it. He actually pushed me to just stick to the Peekaboo idea, that this is a book about Peek looking for Boo, which was one of the ideas. and don't do the bilingual thing. That's just too confusing. Let's just focus on something. And it worked. And I am so happy to say that the book sold to Ivan at Source Books, and I'm so happy. We're actually going to start working on it soon. It's a dream come true. So anyways, that project was done out of working hours, and I was just highly creative. And then the other project that I was really creative, and I drew, and it's written, and I drew, and it's in a dummy, and it's ready for submission. We're gonna maybe start at the beginning of the year. Was also based on my daughter, and it's also based on her bedtime routine, because I can't say it because then it will give away the story, but it is to do with the bedtime routine and how crazy funny she is and how much I have to run after her. Not in a bad way, she loves going to bed, thank God she loves to sleep like myself and her dad, but it has to do with our little game before going to bed. Something else I completely forgot to say is that after I became a parent and only having a few hours a day to work, so I only work 4 hours a day, my focus became really focused. So I became really productive for those 4 hours. I'm following the advice from Jake Parker, who a lot of people know as a creator of Inktober, and on his podcast with Will Terry and Lee White, one time he mentioned, like, when people ask him how do you manage to do so many things, how do you have a work and life balance, and I think it was something in the lines of when he does something, he really focus fully on that thing solely. It doesn't, because I think he used to work and think about his family and be with his family and think about work, and none of those things were productive. So I follow his advice of, when I'm doing something, for example being with my daughter, I am fully with her. We play, we go out, we're just fully together. I'm not thinking about work, I'm just with her. And then when those 4 hours start around 12:30 now, at 12:30 I don't even have chats. I don't chat with anybody. I listen to my podcast or watch some videos on YouTube, but I just work, because I know I only have those 4 hours a day to really work. Sometimes I might have some time in the evening to relax a bit more or work a bit more if I have a really tight deadline. But I am ultra focused, and I think I became faster. I was already a little bit fast because of storyboard work. You have to be fast because the deadlines were for yesterday, and you have really hard retakes, you have to redo everything, so you become faster because you have to. It's part of your job. So I think my creativity is never going to be the same as it was before we had a baby, but I think it's a nice change. I don't pressure myself to draw. Not that I pressure before. Before I just drew out of enjoyment and relaxation, but now, because I can't just sit down and just draw a picture, I like to work on a project instead of working on one single picture. I don't know why that changed in my brain. It definitely changed. Something changed in my brain after I became a mom. Maybe my brain is like, no, you shouldn't be working on one picture, you should be working on a project so you can actually sell that project and make money and continue to support your family. I have no idea why it changed. I don't know how much it's going to change. I don't know if it changes more if we ever have a second kid. We have no idea. So at the moment I'm happy how it is. I feel incredibly creative at the moment with projects that I'm writing. I'm drawing another project, a Christmas-based project, just for myself and not for selling or anything. It's just because I want to, and it's nice after working as a children's book illustrator during the day for other authors. It's nice to work just for myself, and I'm so incredibly great. I still pinch myself every day that I have this job. I can't believe it, and the family life is so balanced at the moment. We can actually I spend time with my daughter during the morning, and we bring her to a minder. She goes to another. It's like a mini creche that has other kids around that she can, socialize with. And then we bring her home still not that late, and we can still play with her a lot. So I feel like my life is very balanced at the moment. And I feel like that's not hurting my creativity. It's just making it better as an artist. And if it's not, I'm not gonna, put too much pressure on it, because at the moment my priority is my mental health with my daughter and my partner and Chewy. And I get to walk a lot with Chewy still, which is brilliant. And yeah, if you have any experience and you would like to share what it's been for you as an artist or just as a parent in general, how much that affected, how much of a roller coaster and a bulldozer in a good or bad way it was for your life, you can share in the comments. And if you like this channel, maybe think about subscribing and liking the video. I hope I can have a lot more videos about productivity, about illustration, about how animation changed my illustration career, and many more, I hope. So thank you so much. Bye.